Hello, I am Disparu, and it looks like the rumours might have been true after all, but at this point, I'm not really sure what I think of them anymore. It's turning out that Halo Infinite might be having a BR mode added into it afterwards, and way back at the start, I was actually all for this. I thought Halo having a BR was a great idea to keep its population around, but now, given the struggles of the game, I'm really not sure this is the time. But rumours have kicked off again, and I have to say this last Spartan Standing certainly sounds like a BR to me. When you get this screenshot with the description, every Spartan for themselves, level up your loadout by earning personal score to be the last Spartan standing. If that doesn't say BR, I really don't know what does. And the thing is, I was all for a BR before launch. When the rumours first came round, Halo was basically already built for it. It had everything it needed, even down to the vehicles themselves. Just throw in a map and have at it. But since that point, and since the decline of Halo Infinite's playbase itself, I'm not really sure that this can save it. You see, Halo Infinite's big team battle was a 12 versus 12, and it was broken in the matchmaking stage for months. And since that time, the Halo Infinite playbase itself has basically fallen off a cliff. It started on Steam at 256,000, but now the 24-hour peak is 8,000, and at this point, it's still only 4.5 as I film the video. That is not enough to make any kind of BR. And quite frankly, if you're struggling to make a 24-player mode work, am I really expected to think that you can pull off, what, a 160-player mode? And on top of that, Halo Infinite itself has really struggled even at its core player base. In the 4v4 mode, you still get a point where you either have incredibly bad ping or you just get shot and die around corners. And that's with 4v4. All of those problems are exaggerated over more and more players. And so you already have all of these problems to fix in the Halo Infinite main game modes themselves, and now you want to add a BR into it? It seems insane to me to even consider, let alone spend development time on, when that's development time that you could spend on the actual game itself to fix it, and start recovering some of that player base which you've lost over time. And yet this wouldn't be the first time that a company has poorly delegated its workforce, and this BR mode has been in talk or rumoured for a long time. Way back in August you had this, where during the original technical tests for Halo Infinite, people found various different voice files, which kind of strongly hinted at a BR themselves, like you had this.
Battle Royale.
And honestly, I don't think you get more obvious than that. So we know that this is something they considered, at least enough for them to get voice work for it, even if they didn't actually start developing it themselves. But what now? Now the player base for Halo Infinite has been drastically decreased over time. Is this like a last chance saloon? Have they given up on the main game, thinking that a Battle Royale might save them? Maybe they've shifted over the developers and this is their main course now. What happens if you write off the multiplayer and think that actually a Battle Royale might save them? Is there any argument that this isn't what COD did? I think there's a huge portion of the population which actually plays Warzone and uses multiplayer to level up the guns. And I say that because that's me. When a new COD releases, I play the multiplayer at first, and I enjoy it, but it's generally not something that keep my attention long term unless I need to level up the guns for a Battle Royale. So I can't even say that's a bad idea. What I do think is a bad idea is to possibly consider this when your actual core game is broken at its heart. Broken so much that even the players that would love to play it still can't, just because there's so many problems, it grinds them down over time. When you got core fundamental problems like hit detection, and Halo Infinite has some of the worst hit detection I've seen in a first-person shooter, what you end up with is a game that is fun to play at its core, but it's got all these tiny little issues which constantly make you angry or frustrated until you eventually stop playing. And if you want to revive the game, you've got to solve these core foundational issues before you can even think about coming out with a BR. So for me, I was all behind making a BR before Halo Infinite was actually launched. I thought it should launch with one to keep the player base that was already there. But I also assumed they would nail the most basic of things which is needed for an FPS. Hit detection and matchmaking. And when they can't even fix that, when those fundamental problems still exist within the game, I can't turn around and say that you should actually be even considering a BR, let alone delegating development time towards it. And so even though I was a fan of the BR, I have to just ask 343, what on earth do you think you're doing? Even your developers are coming out and saying we understand the community is simply out of patience. And what, do you think they're going to be happy about this announcement? Personally, I can't see it. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe. More videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.